Hello, everyone. This is Eva, and welcome back to Daily English Learn, your trusted space for becoming a confident English speaker.
And I'm Mark. We're here today because we want to talk about something that keeps so many learners stuck. And honestly, it's not what most people think.
That's right, Mark. So many students tell us, I've been learning English for years, but I still can't speak. And when we ask them what they're doing to practice, the answers are always the same. They say, I'm watching videos, I'm doing grammar exercises, I'm reading articles. But here's the problem. None of that is actual speaking practice.
Exactly. And that's the big mistake. Learning about English and actually speaking English are two completely different skills. It's like watching someone cook on YouTube and then expecting yourself to make a perfect dish without ever touching a pan. It just doesn't work that way.
So today we're going to change that. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly why you've been stuck, and more importantly, you're going to know the exact steps to start speaking English confidently, even if you're learning completely alone at home.
And we're not going to give you theory. We're going to give you real, practical methods that you can start using today. So if you're ready to finally break through that speaking fear, stay with us.
Let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to think about this honestly. When was the last time you actually spoke English out loud? Not in your head, not silently reading, but actually using your voice, your mouth, your tongue to form English words.
Right. And for most people, the answer is almost never. Maybe they repeat a sentence once or twice from a video, but that's it. And that's the core issue. Your brain knows English, your eyes recognize the words, but your mouth hasn't practiced producing the sounds.
Think about it like this. Imagine you want to learn to swim. You read books about swimming, you watch videos of professional swimmers, you understand the theory of how to move your arms and legs, but you never actually get into the water. Will you be able to swim?
Of course not. And English is exactly the same. Your mouth, your tongue, your breathing, they all need training. Speaking is a physical skill, not just a mental one.
So the first thing we want you to understand is this. If you're not speaking out loud regularly, you're not actually practicing speaking. You're practicing something else. Maybe listening, maybe reading, but not speaking.
And here's the good news. You don't need a teacher, you don't need a speaking partner, you don't even need to leave your house. You can practice speaking English alone, and it's actually one of the most effective ways to improve.
All right, so let's talk about how to do this the right way. The first method we want to share with you is something we call self-conversation practice. And no, this is not just talking to yourself randomly.
Exactly. This is structured, this is intentional, and this is how it works. Every single day, you're going to pick one simple topic. It could be anything, your morning routine, your favorite food, what you did yesterday. And you're going to talk about that topic out loud for 2 to 3 minutes.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Eva, I don't know what to say. My mind goes blank. That's normal. That happens to everyone in the beginning. So here's what you do. You prepare a few sentences in advance.
Let me give you an example. Let's say your topic is your morning routine. You might prepare sentences like this. I wake up at 6:30 every morning. First, I brush my teeth and wash my face. Then I make a cup of tea. After that, I check my phone for a few minutes.
Good. Now, once you've written those sentences, don't just read them. Stand up, look away from the paper, and speak them out loud, like you're telling a story to a friend. Repeat the same sentences 3 or 4 times until they start to feel natural.
And here's the key. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't stop to correct yourself. Just keep talking, because fluency comes from practice, not perfection.
Exactly. Your goal is not to sound like a native speaker right now. Your goal is to build the habit of speaking without fear. Once you can talk for 2 minutes without stopping, you can slowly increase the time.
Now, the second method we recommend is something called shadowing, and this is one of the most powerful techniques for improving your pronunciation, your rhythm, and your confidence all at the same time.
Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker and you repeat exactly what they say, almost at the same time. You follow their voice like a shadow. You copy their speed, their tone, their pauses, everything.
And the best part is, you can do this with anything. A podcast episode, a YouTube video, even a movie scene. But we recommend starting with something slow and clear, like a podcast made for English learners.
Let me show you how this works. Let's say you're listening to a sentence like this. I went to the store yesterday to buy some groceries. You play that sentence, and immediately after hearing it, you repeat it out loud. I went to the store yesterday to buy some groceries.
And you do this again and again. You play the sentence, you repeat it, you focus on matching the speaker's rhythm and pronunciation. This trains your mouth to produce the sounds correctly.
Now, when you first start shadowing, it's going to feel difficult. Your tongue might feel slow, you might stumble over words. That's completely normal. But if you practice shadowing for just 10 minutes a day, you'll notice a huge improvement in how natural your English sounds.
All right, let's move to the third method, and this one is really fun. It's called teaching practice. And here's how it works. You imagine that you're a teacher, and you have to explain something in English to a student.
So, for example, you could explain how to make tea, or you could explain the rules of a sport, or you could describe how your phone works. The topic doesn't matter. What matters is that you're speaking continuously and organizing your thoughts in English.
Let me give you an example. Let's say you're explaining how to make tea. You might say something like this. First, you need to boil some water. While the water is boiling, take a cup and put a tea bag inside. Once the water is ready, pour it into the cup. Let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes. Then add milk and sugar if you like. And that's it. Your tea is ready.
See how simple that was? You're using basic English, but you're speaking in full sentences. You're connecting ideas, and you're practicing the skill of explaining something clearly.
And the best part is, this method forces you to think in English. You're not translating from your native language. You're creating sentences directly in English, which is exactly what fluency feels like.
Now let's talk about something really important. A lot of learners feel embarrassed to speak English alone. They think, this feels strange. I'm talking to myself like a crazy person.
Right, and we understand that feeling. But here's the truth. Every confident English speaker you've ever seen, they practiced alone at some point. They made mistakes alone. They felt awkward alone. But they kept going.
Speaking alone is not weird. It's smart, because when you practice alone, there's no pressure. There's no one to judge you. You can make as many mistakes as you want, and no one will even know.
Exactly. And over time, speaking alone builds your confidence. Because when you finally do speak with someone, your mouth already knows how to form the words. Your brain already knows how to organize sentences. It feels easier.
All right, so we've talked about 3 methods: self-conversation practice, shadowing, and teaching practice. But now we want to give you a really practical daily routine that combines all of these methods.
Yes, so here's what we recommend. Every morning, spend 5 minutes doing self-conversation practice. Pick a simple topic and talk about it out loud. Don't overthink it, just speak.
Then, in the afternoon or evening, spend 10 minutes shadowing. Choose a short audio clip, maybe 1 or 2 minutes long, and repeat it multiple times. Focus on pronunciation and rhythm.
And finally, before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes doing teaching practice. Explain something simple in English, like a daily task or a hobby. Speak slowly and clearly, as if you're teaching a beginner.
That's just 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes of actual speaking practice. And if you do this consistently, you'll see results in just 2 to 3 weeks.
Now, let's talk about common mistakes, because even when people start practicing speaking alone, they often do it the wrong way, and that slows down their progress.
The first mistake is speaking too fast. A lot of learners think they need to speak quickly to sound fluent, but that's not true. Fluency means speaking smoothly and clearly, not necessarily fast.
Right. So when you're practicing alone, focus on clarity first. Speak slowly. Pronounce each word properly. Once you feel comfortable, you can naturally increase your speed.
The second mistake is stopping every time you make a mistake. Listen, mistakes are part of learning. If you stop and correct yourself every few seconds, you'll never build fluency.
Exactly. When you're practicing alone, just keep going. Don't stop. Even if you say something wrong, finish your sentence and move on. You can always review and improve later.
And the third mistake is not recording yourself. I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable hearing their own voice, but recording yourself is one of the best ways to identify problems.
Yes, when you listen to your own recording, you can hear where you're making mistakes. Maybe you're pronouncing a word incorrectly. Maybe your sentences are too short. Maybe you're speaking too quietly. Once you identify the problem, you can fix it.
All right, before we finish, let's talk about mindset, because learning to speak English alone requires patience and consistency.
That's true. You're not going to sound perfect after 1 week. You're not going to sound fluent after 1 month. But if you practice every single day, even for just 10 or 20 minutes, you will improve.
And here's something we want you to remember. Speaking English is not about being perfect. It's about being understood. Native speakers make mistakes too. They pause, they repeat themselves, they use simple words, and that's completely normal.
So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't compare yourself to native speakers. Compare yourself to who you were last week, last month, last year. That's the only comparison that matters.
All right, everyone, we've covered a lot today. Let's quickly recap. If you want to start speaking English confidently, you need to practice speaking out loud every single day.
Use self-conversation practice to build the habit of speaking. Use shadowing to improve your pronunciation and rhythm, and use teaching practice to organize your thoughts in English.
Start with just 20 minutes a day. Be consistent. Don't worry about mistakes. And most importantly, trust the process. You will improve.
And remember, speaking alone is not weird. It's one of the smartest and most effective ways to learn English. So start today, right now. Pick a topic and speak for 2 minutes. That's all it takes to begin.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Daily English Learn. We hope this helped. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends who are also learning English.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy learning.
Bye.